Horse Apple. The kneeling bench had no space for him at the altar. Everyone in the church was beset with one misery or another as they sought God that Sunday morning in September. So the old farmer knelt at his pew, the waxed floor brutal against his shins. He crossed himself with care, thanked God for the horse he'd bought 2 days prior, and left $3 in the offering basket. No one answered his calls as he looked across the stalls in the livery. He could see the hindquarters of the horses turned against the draft of cool air. The blacksmith had been working. There was a silence that made him wonder. The hammer was resting atop the anvil, the coals glimmering beneath a white coat of ash. He looked into the Ferris corner. The knives, chisels, files, and rasps were quiet. He walked across the road to the cafe. Through the window, he watched the blacksmith, who was having a cup of dark coffee. His name was Tanager. He wanted to ask about his mare. Where the hell was she? He had to go inside, where he saw neighbors he didn't know he had. Tanager told him he had tied her up behind the barn where he hadn't thought to look. Has she been shoed? He wanted to take her home. He wanted to break his garden and get on with the fall planting. He then turned aside and walked to the counter. He asked the waitress for a piece of coconut pie, wrapped in wax paper, slipped inside a small paper bag. He put it inside the wide pocket of his field coat. He had not tasted a coconut pie for maybe 10 years since his wife died. She had made the last coconut pie he'd eaten, and he had forgotten how good it was till he saw the pie in the glass case. Tanager had told him that the mare had been worked hard, that her hooves had needed careful attention, but charged him the same as always, grimacing at first, but accepted his gratitude with a handshake. He saw black clouds in the distance, but hitched up the old mare anyway. The mare had lost her enthusiasm and become stubborn, yet she accepted the harness as it felt familiar and plodded over to the plow. He hooked up the plow and they began cutting furrows as the day grew darker. A wild apple tree at the edge of the garden had a few fruit left. As they passed near it, the mare veered, and the old farmer was helpless to stop her. She stretched to pull an apple with her teeth. The apple, one of a half-dozen still clinging to the tree, fell to the ground, and he picked it up. He pulled his penknife from his pocket and cut the apple into quarters and fed them to the mare 1 quarter at a time. They had broken 2 furrows when he saw the first flash of lightning. The mare stopped. "Yee-haw," the farmer said, then, "Yee-haw, get on now, old girl." But the mare wouldn't budge. The farmer slapped her rump so hard his hand stung, and he remembered the day when he was a boy of 15, when he had whipped a horse with a sapling crop until blood was raised because his father expected him to plow the potato patch. Then, seeing the horse blood on his hand, his father had beaten him with that sapling branch. The old farmer walked up to the mare and looked into her yellowed eyes. He thought, we should both be dead by now, but we're not, and we still need to work if we want to eat. He knew she didn't understand his words, or if she did, it probably wouldn't matter. She was tired before they had started. and so was he. He saw the streak of fire coming. The lightning hit the mare in the head and went through her body, her legs, her hooves, creating a pool of burning minerals as it reached the ground, singeing the hair from his face. The mare crumpled to the ground with a thud. The rain came, but he did not move until he was so cold he had to. And he had decided he would bury her where she had fallen in the morning.
Thank you for listening to Jenny and Sally's story. This recording was produced by Fugitive Poets Press and Beyond Grateful, where we enjoy making things for you to read and listen to.